All right, there we are. I'm just gonna keep. Where do we want to put this bad boy?
Yeah, we can just put it right there.
All right.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can move a glass and that.
Yeah, you can move glasses around.
All right.
Woo,
We're live. We are live.
Such
Well,
as it is.
Yeah, as live as we can be, right?
Oh, hey, odd man out.
Yes.
Hey, but that's a good shit shirt. It's a good shirt.
That is a good shirt.
Right.
It is a good
That's
shirt.
an awesome shirt.
That's an acceptable.
I got the same
substitution
shirt.
It is.
It is that good of a shirt. We got matching t-shirts.
Well, thank you guys for joining us tonight. If you're new here, we are Pints and Pistons. We're the one and only unscripted shit show.
Very enthusiastic.
Yeah. We're 4 idiots that drink beer and talk.
Will.
We're 4 idiots that drink beer and talk about
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much that's what this is all about. But before we get started, make sure you guys go to the description there. There's all of our supporters are there. Doodlebug Dog Ranch, 38 Bank, Clutch Shift Go. Check out our Facebook. There's always plenty of good memes on our Facebook that make people giggle.
Yes.
And
we're gonna storm Area 51 in style. It's Race Wars.
yeah. And make sure you guys also check out.
The only thing I'm looking forward to.
Well, you lied. You're not new here.
The invasion of Area 51 is I just want to see how many dipshits get shot.
Same here, because there is a select. I mean, there's out of I think it's at 4 million people now. There's gonna be some people that actually
Just like 30 people are actually going to show up.
Yeah.
And they're going to go, you know what? Screw it.
And
I'm here. Let's do it.
Right.
And none of those are going to be the guy that started that. He's going to be sitting back on his own computer going, Jesus Christ, look at these idiots.
Right.
But see, the sad thing is, in the last couple of days, it's kind of died off, and I'm like, I'm missing my Area 51
Everyone
memes
memes.
popping
Those
up.
those were the best memes
Oh
I've
God,
ever seen.
that
This week.
was 2 weeks of solid memes.
Yes,
going
there
on.
was.
Like so much so we stole a couple to put on our page. That's how
Right.
good they were.
Yeah.
Like we're like, oh shit, like this is good.
Now, I have a collection of memes.
Yeah.
Now, for anyone who is new here in the past, present, or future streams, we kick off by drinking some alcohol. So, you're going to beer us?
Yep.
Mike is
which
gonna-
one do you want to start with? The one I brought or one Brian brought?
Surprise us?
Surprise us.
Dealer's choice.
I don't know. That's usually a bad thing.
Yeah.
He might not show up with.
I like
he might
Sam
show up-
Adams.
For some
Oktoberfest.
reason, Oktoberfest is out already.
Oh,
Dude,
they're
they
a
had 12 packs of stuff laid out in ABC.
just a wee bit ahead of time, but not too far.
Yeah, that's
ahead
what Mike was
of
saying.
time,
I was
though.
like, yeah, a little bit early for that, but well,
That's okay.
I'll dig it.
What do you want here? Freaking going nuts.
I have still been just drinking Coors Banquet. Like that's my new favorite beer at this point. My new favorite, like just
Daily.
keep in the refrigerator and drink with dinner. Banquet.
Yeah, I went full idiot. I got a beer for tonight and then left it at the house, so I cannot guarantee it'll be around in 2 weeks when we do this again.
I am very happy about this one. I will say I did try a sample. By sample, I mean the little like shooter that they put like foam in. And we've been wanting to try stuff from this place. Sorry, I'm kind of down here. Guys, this is, and it fits the show
got it?
perfectly. This is V
Oh,
Twin.
yeah,
by,
get like right up towards
There
the
you
lens.
go.
There you go.
Perfect.
that is V Twin by Motorworks. This is a Vienna style lager, and from what the lady told me, who was actually, was working-
Did you have a malfunction?
I got it.
You got
Sorry.
the
You cannot defeat me.
the very attractive lady that was sampling beer for us. She works for them, and
look at the
it is
color.
it is almost like an Oktoberfest in the traditional style.
Oh wow.
And as soon as she said that, I'm like, I don't even need to try it. Just give me a 6-pack of it now.
oh
She's like,
wow.
don't you want to try it? I'm like,
Ooh.
everything you just said was stuff
You
that I
gotta,
love.
you gotta show the color of this stuff.
Oh
Yes.
wow. Yeah, dude, that's really
Perfect. I mean,
that
look
is
at
that's
really
very
pretty
beautiful
color.
color.
It is
right
a
there.
very traditional lager.
Vienna style lager from Bradenton, Florida.
Yeah,
right
yeah,
on.
Yeah, they're local. And it was, yeah.
It almost smells like one of those Kolsch's that we had.
Mm-hmm.
It does smell a lot like that, doesn't it?
It's got like, it kind of smells like a Kolsch. It kind of smells like one of the Heffies that we've tried.
I did. Chris broke into it.
Yeah,
Buddy.
that's fine.
Couldn't stop myself.
It's
Oh God, beer malfunction.
Beer malfunction.
What is your malfunction, Private?
Gravity,
Oh.
apparently.
I like that.
That's good.
It's not wow, but like definitely a very good drinking beer.
It is very different from the sample I had because the sample I had was nothing but foam.
Yeah, it's
It
That's
has
why I don't like doing the samples. You
What
usually
is
get
that?
nothing but foam.
Yeah, unless they actually fill the sample cup up so it can sort of breathe a little bit.
that
There's
is
something there. I'm trying to figure out what it is.
okay. So again, I have a 6-pack of Oktoberfest in there because Oktoberfest
Oh.
is one of my favorite beers. Just like that that style is one of my favorite beers. This has an Oktoberfest smell, but it's basically an Oktoberfest cut in half. Not in a bad way, just the flavors are just more everyday.
A little more muted, not so
Yeah.
in your face. Yeah.
But
No, I'm
you,
trying to figure out
but
what
you
that-
still
what that-
get it.
There's a profile there.
I
that I'm
don't- I
not
don't-
picking out.
I don't think that's anything added. I think that is straight up just
The beer.
the beer.
Yeah, the type of
the
hops, in it,
hops
yeah.
and yeast and everything. I
It's-
think it's
it's
just straight up
good.
that. It is really good though.
It's very smooth.
It's only 4.7%.
Yeah,
too.
but it's very smooth. It's a good
This is a solid leave in the fridge for whenever kind of beer.
yeah. But the best thing is coming up onto autumn. You know, like I know now we're still in the dead heat of summer. Well, and everybody might be like, "Oh, autumn's coming." No, for Florida, you got till October till you hit some type of hey, it's not 80.
Cool-ish.
Yeah, cool-ish.
Yeah, when the humidity drops from 80 to 50.
Yeah.
50,
So
60.
this would be one of those once it starts hitting late September, early October. Perfect everyday beer for that
Uh-huh.
because right now you want like a
Ah.
Corona style
Yeah.
something.
Will's got the
like
the
so.
Founder's Motor Oil Breakfast Stout.
I like
That's
that. I like
the
that
one.
stuff.
Yes, I had that
Founder's
last
is
night over
good.
at his house, and it's 8.3,
Mhm.
super dark. I was a bit scared because I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, everything we've had like this, horrible bite at the end.
It reminds me of that
That is,
midnight oil.
yeah, that is one. It has
Yeah.
the midnight oil finish where it's just smooth,
Mhm.
but yet it's 8.3%.
I sampled one at ABC, Marker 48, that I didn't know they did. It's called Moose Juice.
Oh,
It is
I've
oh,
seen that somewhere.
I-
It
I've
is a
seen Moose
straight
Juice.
up coffee porter, and there's nothing subtle about the coffee side of it. It's coffee with a side of beer.
Yeah.
Oh, side note: did you happen to find any of that Einstock, the
the
white
one
ale?
we just
They
saw
have it at
it.
ABC, but I didn't get any because I figured you've already had it. And
Well, not just like for you to have though.
yeah,
If you,
but I know, ABC's been having it.
Yeah, my buddy brought it over to my house, and he asked me if I like Einstock. I said I love Einstock, and he brought that over, and I had it. So, like I was saying, you take a Hefeweizen with just like an ale, just right together, and it's this beautiful blonde color, and it's so
So it's
smooth.
kind of like the Miami Vice that we had last time.
Yes.
It was a lot like that, but with I don't know like how to describe the taste exactly, other than more of an Icelandic feel,
Yeah.
like more of a Viking type of mead sort of
When did
taste
you
to
have
it.
that? You had it on Sunday?
I don't remember.
I think it was Sunday.
Last week sometime. I don't know. My buddy brought a Speed 3 over and we were working on it.
Maybe there's something in the beer.
No, I drank it after the fact and I was fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you remember me with Shinerbach.
Yeah.
Fucking love that beer. And
But
damn, that was one that I wish I wasn't allergic to that because that was a good, like, it wasn't one of the best beers I've had, but that was a
I
good
still want to
like
go back
this.
and rewatch that episode and just watch you turn red.
It was a solid drinking everyday beer, and I loved it. Loved the flavors, the malts, everything.
Yeah, but then
I
it was the
turned
other
like
beer, and I was like, I'm so glad I'm in a hospital right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And poor other Chris.
Yeah, poor other Chris.
He looked out. He looked like
That's what the flavor I'm getting out of this is. It's a very strong malt flavor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just it's a heavy malt. That's what it is.
you know, honestly though, like I
Finishes
said,
like
back,
the inside of a Whopper.
Yes, that's what it is.
but actually back to back, it's not much different than the Oktoberfest.
No, it's really
No,
actually it
but
reminds me like a Sam Adams
But it's
Oktoberfest.
a little toned down.
Yeah,
Like
it is.
just a little. It's not much. You still
Yeah.
get all the full
yeah,
flavors.
it's not that much different.
Yeah.
than,
No,
Yeah,
it's
and
not.
that's
it's a
what
little
the-
bit different,
that's
but not
what
that
the-
much different.
That's what the lady was saying because the one that was giving out the samples, she actually works for the
No, so it
Motorworks.
wasn't. So it wasn't Beer Fest where we just had volunteers. And
No,
free kegs.
no, this was the actual lady. Very nice looking. I mean, even Sabrina's like, she's pretty cute. I'm like, yeah. But knew what she was talking about, not just hey, I work for the company. Like she was, because she also like picked up I had some, I forgot what beer was in my hand. She's like, well, compared to this, where this, and I'm like, oh, ooh, I want that beer. Can we bring our own, please?
Now, I think without further ado, it's time to do that other thing we do here, and we'll talk about car stuff.
Oh,
Oh,
shit,
yeah.
we do that?
Yeah.
We don't just drink beer.
Yeah, we do that.
Why do we do
Oh,
this to ourselves?
2020 C8 Corvette production is nearly sold out already.
Yes.
Not surprised.
Yeah.
In the slightest, not surprised.
Well, and see, my favorite thing about that is I know it's an extra $5,000, but you can have your VIN number customized for an extra $5,000. You can pick your VIN number and have that done. And I bet within the first 5 minutes of that being released, somebody already had 4206969. Or boobs. 8008F5.
No, I think it's the, I think
Boobs.
is it the last 8 or the last 7 that you can do.
I don't remember, but it's still, I can imagine somebody be like, hey, look, I turned my calculator upside down.
Yeah.
Boobs.
Well, I think it's pretty cool that they're already.
58000008.
Boobs. I think it's really cool that they're almost sold out, and like I said, I'm not surprised in the least because
I'm curious of how many of these cars will be just the straight up base models.
I am too.
How many will be base? How many be
You know
LT1?
what?
How many be
I
LT2? How
am-
many will
I
be
am gonna-
Z51?
I am
Da, da,
going
da,
to
da, da.
say a good majority of them will probably be base to mid-level.
Like an LT1 trim.
The reason why, the price point of it, people now a little bit older than us, it's Corvette that they've been waiting for. They have kind of taken the boomers out of the market to where
Yeah, the Wall Street Journal article with the boomers being all pissed about it.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Glorious.
That was one of the things is how like so many different news articles of big news outlets covering
yeah.
the Corvette. It was hilarious.
Well, I mean, you got
Totally just took the thunder away from the GT500 and the Supra.
everything, yeah.
Well, you got to think about it. So the last 2 generations of Corvette, the C6 and C7, yes, younger people bought them, but it was still mostly a boomer-driven car. This has made it to where you have again with the amount of interest over all the platforms of news or media and all that. You have sparked the interest of younger buyers that was like, well, finally, I can
It's
have a
gonna be,
Corvette
you know,
that's not like Grandpa's.
Right. Speaking of
Not in a bad way.
Speaking of
Just
boomers
this is
and the
for
grandpas
us.
and all that, how many of those Corvettes are now going to be dumped onto the market?
Oh yeah.
And the thing is, every one of those ads is going to be super low miles. No longer special. Almost all Corvettes have super low
Mhm.
miles.
Yeah, and you're not wrong. And if you want to pick up a Corvette with 100,000 miles on it, you can get like a C6, I was looking at 2012 1LTs,
Mm-hmm.
6-speed manual and everything, loaded with over 100,000 miles, 9-10 grand.
Oh no, you're going to see the used Corvette market tank for a little while.
And that's when Daddy's going
Because
to get a C6.
What we're talking about is they sold out production.
A C6
Of the Corvette.
There's no back seat, so I mean,
I don't need it.
Oh,
that
the owl.
Hootie, yeah,
Hootie.
Hootie. Big Hootie.
Big hoot. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
he is
yeah,
a-
he's a
Well,
big
well,
one.
I didn't
That's
send
one
you
that
the
carries
pictures.
you
we
off.
had little Hootie right here and a big Hootie in the on the fence. And sorry guys, you can't see it. We're over at Jason Williams' house, and that they got 2 owls that are over here all
Hey,
the
stay
time.
inside, man. Stay
Well,
inside.
yeah, no.
I don't
the
want
one
you-
that
I don't
we
want
were
you getting
looking at
carried
that
off.
We're calling
Yeah.
Big Hootie.
They're pretty
This
big.
thing is seriously. I'm not okay. So they can see the ground.
It's as tall
seriously
as Mike.
that- Yeah. That thing probably weighs 20 pounds, which for a bird, holy crap.
That's a pretty big owl.
It is.
So yeah, hold on. Before we get off the subject, I did take a picture of both of them, and yeah, you gotta. So that's little Hootie who was over here. So that's the little one. That's like the female. That's the big one on the fence. When that yeah. So sorry guys, sorry we got carried away.
Will
So,
says he wants to try one of the V twins.
yeah, we should have one left in that. So but yeah,
But yeah, so the Corvette, I mean, the production is sold out. They've sold every one that they're planning on making right now for the 2020 model
yes.
It's my bring a trailer car.
year.
That is a very
Which means
clean.
I'd say probably 70% of those are going to have an older Corvette traded in on.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So You're
You're
going to see
gonna
a market
see
flooded with
Of
2-year-old
six- yeah,
Corvettes
you're
with
gonna have
20,000 miles on
C6s
them.
and C7s getting traded in like crazy.
Yeah, you're going to
But
see a
then
bunch of
you're also gonna
C7s
have-
with 10, 20,000
But
miles
you're
on
also
them.
going to have a bunch of C7s at that point. I think the C7 used market is not going to crash. The C7 used market is going to go up because you're going to have people that are trading into low mile C7s for a C8. Then you're going to have boomers that are buying up the C7s.
And they're the last Corvettes with
yeah.
twin engines.
I think what
You
you'll
see
see,
what I'm-
now. I think what you'll see is there will be so many C7s traded in that trade-in values will be crap,
Right.
but dealer resale prices
Will be up.
will be
Yeah.
up.
Well, then you're gonna get the crowd of people like, well, it's the last Corvette with the engine in the front.
We were talking about that today. Me, Brandon, and Dave were talking about that too. You know what the change is? It's no longer a Grand Tour.
No,
That's what it is. That's the difference.
no, it's moved
Well,
on to
well,
a full-blown sports
They've
car.
made it into
Yeah.
a sports car now.
Well, see, but it's one of those. I gotta fight that logic though. The Corvette was always a two-seater. Like even with the hatchback one, you had stuff. It's just there was no more space in the back. The thing with the Grand Tour, when you look at like the Ferraris and stuff like that, you at least had somewhat of a backseat, whether usable or not. It was you had more room in there. You had room for all your luggage and all that stuff.
And the Corvette always kind of fit that bill.
250 GT short wheelbase didn't have a back seat. Had barely any place to put luggage.
You could have a 250 GT 2+2 that's got an LS1 in it.
Okay, so you're fighting.
Yeah, I do. I have seen that
But do you at least see what I'm talking
I
about?
get what you're
though?
saying, but the Corvette, that's always been what the Corvette was. It
Yeah.
was never a sports car. It was a
Sporty
grand,
car.
It was a sporty car, but it was a grand touring car. That's what they kind of meant. What we're aiming for was, even though they didn't apply the European logic, that was if you applied European logic to it, it was a GT
Yeah.
car,
Yeah.
and it's no longer that. And
Yeah.
that's what
Sorry
the
if I don't
boomers
look
are
like I'm
so
paying
expensive.
attention, but
Yeah.
There's-
Yeah, I was just telling about it.
Yeah.
there are Walmarts behind us.
Anyway, but yeah, so we're really excited. Obviously, you guys can definitely be reassured we will be covering as much stuff as we can on the new vet, especially when one comes around
yeah,
here.
and it's like kind of what we talked about last episode. Well, and we really only hit on our actual car topics for very little that episode.
Yeah,
Really good episode though, and I'm sorry it went 2.5 hours, guys, but that was a really good episode.
Yeah.
Well, we recapped 51
Yes.
years.
Yeah.
yeah.
But the C8, I'm really not. Fuck you, cicadas. It's like our first episode all over again. We couldn't hear us because of cicadas.
Welcome to
So,
Florida.
Yeah, but I like some Chevys, but I'm not a full GM fan. Appreciate them, just C8, 100% I would have. That is the one Corvette
yeah.
I looked at as soon as I saw it, especially when I saw it in that bronze metallic that they have, which
Oh.
is like it's almost
Oh.
like a pewter color.
Oh,
I saw that,
color is
and
awesome,
I'm
but
like,
honestly, the
oh.
bright orange
Orange.
pearl
That's
I
good.
was like, budget
But
McLaren right
it's-
there.
it's
Like,
one
yeah.
that you see that like pewter color in that, and then I saw a rendering of it with a decent set of wheels on it. I was like, if that,
I was losing
well,
my shit at that.
I saw.
The
I mean, I
electric
also
blue
oh yes,
that I'm going to be after in about 3 to 4 years.
I love the color.
yes.
But honestly-
That one trucker saw one in the wild, and seeing that with the cloud cover and like actual like not press photo of it, just
Yeah, but just
driving
out
next
in
to
the
it.
wild.
that color. I mean, again, it's almost just like grabber blue. I think it's a tad bit darker, but
Well, a little
that's
darker, more
nice-
metallic.
Yes, that is a what
Grab
is
blue's
it?
no metallic.
Exactly.
It's rapid fire blue. Is that what it's rapid? It's rapid something blue. Is
Yeah.
the name of it, and that color.
Well,
That with some black wheels and a couple black trim
Yes.
accents.
Oh yeah.
That'll be what I'm hunting for in
Yeah.
about 3 to 4 years.
I don't know. I
It's a
think
used
my
market.
car, all 1953 Corvettes, which were supposed to be America's sports car, were all white, red interior.
Yep.
Yes, that's how I built mine.
First C8, mine would be white with the red interior.
That's
Probably an LT1
Yeah.
with the performance exhaust.
But I'm sure between the four of us, with all the different people we know, we'll definitely
Yeah,
find
we'll
a way
see
to get
what's
near one.
Right.
For sure. And definitely
Hey.
have to do some footage on it.
And they only come with 2 pedals.
maybe if we're lucky too, maybe we can even convince somebody to take it on the tail of the Gator.
Right?
Well, we'll get to that, but it's also one of those. I wonder if a Chevy dealership would get it in, because when we went to the Toyota dealership for a car show,
They had
all
no
me and
86s.
Brian wanted to do was drive
Drive an
a
86.
Scion Toyota GT86 FRS. We'd go to this Toyota dealership. They had none. We're
None.
like, you were a Toyota dealership and you got none?
Will says Battleship Gray and Black.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Battleship Gray was.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
the Toyota sales was like, oh, they're not making those anymore. We're like, yeah, they're called the Toyota 86 GT. And he's like,
Yeah.
what? So, yeah.
We were
He's like,
disappointed.
and he asked me, he's like, is there anything else we could interest you in? I'm like, nah, you
No.
don't have anything fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Toyota.
And I will say that too because my wife was recently looking at one of the new Camrys, not one of the V6 ones, but one of the 4-cylinder ones. And they, and it got to the point where I told her, I said, it's probably not doable, la da da da. And I was like, you can entertain them if you want, and if they let you take it home, let them take it home so I could look at it too. So she brought it home, base model, still 210 horsepower.
Yeah.
One of the most boring cars I've ever driven.
Well, that's what a Camry is.
Now,
Terrible.
Well, see, I want to, before we go into our next topic, because we're rolling into Toyota on that part, the new Camry, where it's the more aggressive, everything about it.
I like the way they look.
the new Camrys, they look really good, but then you got the ones where it's a little bit different on the back and a different bumpers. And
And it's the XSP with the V6, and it's got 330
that,
horsepower.
and it is one of those. Me and Brian have been driving around, and we have seen one in that electric blue that they have.
They look good.
Damn
And
They
me and
do.
Brian both looked at each other and were like, "That's the Camry blue
Uh,
drive."
and
and then
if
we
we
looked
look
at
at
each
it-
other again. We're like, "Did we really say that?" But
But there is one problem with it.
it didn't have a Camry did.
Thank you.
But still, give it 2 months it will.
And apparently they get down too.
Oh
so
yeah, no, I saw that, and I'm like,
330 something
Yeah,
horsepower.
they're
that.
pretty stout.
I will say that. Congrats,
and no
Toyota.
CVT.
Yeah, congrats,
Nissan.
Toyota. You
They're not
did
no
a
CVTs like Nissan.
you did a good job on that. Like it,
Toyota's always made a fantastic car.
Yeah, that's what the Camry was, and that's
Yes,
I'll give that.
It's an appliance.
It is an appliance.
No, actually, I would get. There's a better word for that. Conveyance.
Yes.
It's a conveyance.
No, a conveyance is what you call a roller.
No,
A roller is a conveyance.
It is a very
Camry
good
is an
consumer
appliance,
product.
It's just
An
a, yeah, it's-
Altima is a lesser appliance.
No,
Right.
it is a
But that's-
very good consumer.
But you know what I'm
product.
saying?
Appliance.
They make a car.
Yeah.
Here's your car. Well, what's special? Nothing. Nothing is special about it. It will
Good.
take you from here to there and then back to here
That's a
again.
gas. Yeah.
And it will not do anything else.
But it
Well-
will do that exceedingly well.
Well,
Right.
I got to kind of jump on the Camry bandwagon with this with our friend Mark that we know. He's got, what is that, like a 94?
It doesn't have a dent, and I'm almost
like a
calling bullshit on that
94,
car, 'cause
95.
You
Camry-
really kick the bumper.
I
in.
want
Camry.
I want to kick the corner of that bumper so bad it
Silver
kills me every time I
cloth
see
interior,
it.
and
I
that
actually have a-
thing
Because I've
has
been
200
noticing it
plus,
more
like,
since you pointed it out to me.
crazy miles.
I've been taking pictures of them. I find those Camry dents everywhere.
CJ
That is
sent me
one
a
of the
picture of a
cleanest
Camry
that
yesterday with no
generation
dent, and it was an
Camrys
older
I've
one like
ever
Mark's.
seen.
And I was
A lot
like,
of people take care of
I call
them.
bullshit.
Yeah, he
Uh-huh,
does,
those don't
and that,
exist.
Right.
that car is, it's one of those, every time I see his car, I'm like, it's an older Camry, but man, like, I understand why he's still rocking it. The thing is super reliable.
I still want to kick a dent in the bumper.
But you know what? With his, I would bet you would kick a dent to that bumper and it'd pop right back out.
Probably.
Because that car
Maybe
is
the
in-
Russian Camry.
Yeah, that
You
car
cannot
is
take
in
Camry.
such.
Camry
You've
kick
seen
you.
Mark's
Camry kick
Camry
you.
in that, his gray one.
I think so.
That is like one of the cleanest examples of
But
that
also,
generation
too-
one around in this
But
county.
also, too, them being the 4-cylinders, I always thought it'd be cool to take one of those Camrys and do a GT4 or an Alltrack swap in it.
Ooh,
In a Camry.
ooh,
Kind of like a home-built
that would be pretty
VR4.
sweet. Yeah, that would actually be pretty sweet. But I just rolling into the whole
Yeah, the Toyota thing, the new Supra
Yeah.
that everybody hates that they shouldn't because they now see the quarter-mile times and how that thing gets down and realize
they
that
sound
it's
fantastic.
sound great. they are under. Everybody was complaining about the power in that, which was actually more than
Well,
the
people
MK4
still
was.
are, and that pissed me off. I'm like,
They're
that's-
underrated. They actually did dyno test them, and each time they're like, yeah, no, this is like 30, 40 horsepower to the wheel more than what they were saying.
What did the guys down in Tampa get with theirs? Like 360 something
To the
horsepower.
wheel.
Horsepower and torque to the wheels.
And it's one of those. They're only supposed to be like what 330, 335
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah,
Well,
but I
the
wonder,
thing is-
yeah, I wonder how much.
Yeah,
But I wonder
you're
how
right.
table.
That's right.
And the thing,
But I wonder. I
It was
wonder.
so pretty. I didn't want to ash in it.
But I wonder how many. How much of that power and torque figures that we're seeing is the trickery of that automatic transmission that's in there? Because that thing seems to be doing really well.
it does.
Yeah, that is one of those. And everybody again, like just like with the GT500. Oh, it's only automatic. That transmission is a really good transmission.
Is that same A10 that they're putting in everything else too?
I think
No, the
so.
the GT500's got
No, the Supra.
Oh, the Supra.
Yeah, the Supra.
Is that a 10-speed or an 8-speed?
It's an 8
I
speed.
think it's an 8-speed.
It's an 8 speed.
Well, it's the same. It's right out of
But the thing,
BMW.
but even
Yeah.
still, with the quarter
Yeah.
mile time that I saw that I think it was Titan Motorsports.
Yeah, well, you had
Maybe
Titan
maybe it
and
was
then-
it was
well,
Real
Titan and
Street
Real
maybe.
Street, both of them. Well, the first pass of Real Street that I saw was
a 12.9.
Yeah,
I saw 12.9.
Well, 12.9. Then they put Mickey Thompson's ET Streets onto it the next day,
Yeah,
and their first run in
Like
the
a
middle
12
of the day.
it's like a 12.7.
Yeah, and that's down in Bradenton. That's super hot, Florida humidity.
Oh, it's Spin World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They pulled that. They got that
Well,
much.
no, that wasn't
improvement in Spin
Gainesville.
World.
That was Bradenton. Bradenton's a lot better than Gainesville.
But then I saw a
Yeah,
Titan.
Bradenton Motorsports Park, Spin World.
Yeah,
It's better than
Gainesville is hit the wall world.
Yeah.
I saw, and then I saw. I believe it was
I
either
think it was
Titan or
They
maybe
went to- no,
Titan
it
or
was
Innovative or one of the two. Anyway,
one of
they ran a
those.
12.5,
Yeah,
and
out of the box, just putting tires onto it.
I saw people bitching about that, and I was
What?
like, and I said, "Oh, what's the Mark IV run in the quarter?"
a stock.
Completely stock. I hold on. Google's. Brian's going on to Google's. I'm saying take your
Not on
bets.
this.
Take your bets. Take your bets. I'm going
don't think I've ever had
13-6.
13-7.
I don't think
I'm
I've
saying
ever had this.
13-6.
14-1, 14-2.
I got you. You're good.
I mean, not even just comparing it to the old Supra. Let's compare it to brand new cars right now. What does a brand new Mustang GT run in the quarter?
12 something, but
12.3.
yeah,
out of
and
the
that's
box?
a GT. But so going along
And that's
the same,
with the A10.
yeah, well, going along the same power line. So let's go an EcoBoost with full bolt-ons. EcoBoost with full bolt-ons because that's around the same power level as what this is. So forget the GT. EcoBoost full bolt-ons. You're looking at 13.3 to 12.9 depending on driver, all that
Right.
shit. So that's not bad. And when you figure out that like everybody's also complaining about the price on it, that's really not a bad price. That thing is very well loaded. It's a nice car.
It's a
guys.
BMW with a
Exactly.
Toyota body on it.
Exactly.
You're buying a BMW.
The best time ran on a stock Mark IV NA twin turbo is 13.1 in the quarter.
Second gen? Oh, third gen?
Mark IV. The one.
13.1.
Yeah, 13.1.
I'm guessing that was a stick car.
Yeah, probably. But
But still, for a car that's supposed to have only 5 horsepower more than.
It's got more than 5 horsepower.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
but
people
that's why I
can-
was using air quotations.
people
5
can
horsepower more.
get off their high horse,
Yeah.
man. The new Supra's here. You ain't doing anything about it. So
Yeah. And
Go buy one and stop bitching.
it looks good. It's yeah.
I like it.
And you know it's a Supra. The aftermarket's gonna jump on it.
Oh,
Big
they
time.
already are.
already a guy putting a wide body on one.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hell, there's already a guy fixing up a wide body for a C8. It was in a rendering, but they're already printing it.
It kind of looks like
You see the-
like a RWB or Rocket Bunny.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it looks
Yeah,
like.
with
see
the
the-
open turbos in the back.
See the rotary swapped one?
R8? C8?
No, A90 Supra.
No.
There's a rotary swapped one in Japan already.
Speaking of rotary swap, I don't know if any of you have seen any of Rob Daum's stuff.
Oh,
He's doing the rotary
the
swap Corvette.
C6?
I haven't
5?
seen anything recently.
Well,
but
he's back on his 4-rotor project, and he sort of mentioned that it would be cool to take a C8 and 4-rotor swap it
I'm
because
down for
because
that.
the Aerovet concept was going to be a big 4-rotor.
Yeah.
thank
yeah.
you.
So and that would
Do it.
a C8 that sounds like a 787.
Do it.
That would be
10,000
freaking-
RPM.
That would
I
be,
would hoon.
that would be
10,000?
freaking amazing.
13,000.
That would be amazing.
So what my biggest fascination about those motors is that when they're idling with the right exhaust, they sound
amazing.
like a cammed V8 or something, and then they can scream like an F1 car. I love that but that's just you can get me going on Doritos all day.
Oh no, it was the same with Nick's truck. With Nick's truck, when we finally got the second bank, the second rotor to finally fire, it sounded horrible. Then all of a sudden, the second bank fired, and it was just blah 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 blah. I'm like, oh.
Speaking of Doritos,
the sweet chili ones are really good.
speaking of Doritos in the rotary world, I don't know if you guys saw any of this recently, and I don't know if it's anything to spark curiosity with or not, but last week Mazda was spotted on the Nürburgring with an RX-8.
RX-8.
Yeah.
Really?
A camo front.
With a camo front, and it was a regular 08 or 09
Everybody
RX-8.
thought it was a joke, but it was literally Mazda.
It was
Was there a
Mazda.
video of it?
It was a picture
It was a
I
big,
almost
coming through the carousel.
I almost wonder if it had some sort of Skyactiv motor in it.
That's what I was thinking. I wonder if they were doing some engine testing or something. But of course, it got shrugged off really quick, because Mazda's gone all bland and boring. So it got shrugged off really quick, and people were like, "Oh, it's probably nothing." And I was like,
I gotta hold on. I gotta fight you on that. I don't think Mazda has gone bland and boring. It's Mazda has grown up.
They've grown up. Yeah, no, that's fair.
They have grown up.
Because
and I
you can
now
get the new-
growing up to where
Okay.
I'm just about 30.
Okay.
I understand.
Okay, old man. Apply your logic to Nissan and tell me how that works.
Well, they still make the same car that they made for the last 15 years that they need to finally do something with.
Well, I like though that you can get the 2020 Mazda 3 with the turbo engine that has 260 or 200 something horsepower, with 300 foot-pounds of torque, and you can get it all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a blast in a hatchback.
And you can get it in that wonderful brown metallic color that looks fucking good.
And you can get it without a manual because it doesn't come with one. But that's okay.
So Brian can do this.
So bland and boring. No manual. No manual option. You have to give me a manual option
Hold
or
on,
I'm
hold
not
on.
buying it.
At that point, I'm defending Brian. You just called Brian boring.
I did not call Brian
Yes, you did.
boring. The fact that he is differently incapable of driving it.
He is fully capable of driving a manual. He just can't do it in everyday life.
Yeah, I did drive a supercharged Shelby around the parking lot.
Yeah,
I think it was
he
full.
drove Richard.
really?
Yes,
I did not know
yes.
I blew people's minds.
He drove Richard's old Shelby through the
I didn't
parking
know that.
lot.
A
Yes,
2007 Shelby GTS.
with the supercharger
Yeah.
through the parking lot. Worked the handbrake, worked the clutch, got it going, went through the gear.
But you know what I'm saying,
That's a
though.
really quick
if,
footwork.
if there's no manual option,
No.
I ain't buying it.
Like a one-legged guy in an ass kicking contest.
Yeah.
I am the
Yeah.
Amish.
Right on.
it is seriously one of those. I am 100% would go throw the keys to Brian to the 86, go move it, and he could take. I fully know you could take that car around the block because you see me pulling into the garage.
Yep.
I don't even use the gas. It's just
Yeah,
work
it's
the
just as
clutch
much torque at idle.
with
It'll
the
just slip
amount
and
of
go.
torque that thing's got. He could
That
drive that
handbrake,
car.
I move around.
So
But-
you just called Brian boring.
I
But-
didn't call Brian boring.
I would definitely experiment with a T5 and do something I never did with one when I had two legs.
Blow up
See-
their year.
And see if I could rev match shift without the clutch.
I mean, you can try it on the 86 if you want to, but
Yeah, you really-
it's
really-
already
It'll
going.
just make a horrible noise for a little bit.
I mean, you really just.
Well, it already does. You hear it every time when
every
I'm
T5.
I'm
every
grading
T5.
shit through here. I'm going first gear, clutch, neutral, clutch, second gear. There we go. We're in.
I'm sure you could do it. I mean, you just got to clutch to go in first gear, but I'm pretty sure you can nail it.
Yeah.
Speaking of oddball manual transmission cars, have you seen any of the drag racing videos of that old 72 Datsun? It's got the
Yes.
turbo rotary
1320. The
with-
green one.
black
It's a green
with the 4-speed Lenco.
Ooh.
You've seen it. You have seen it. It's the old dude.
It's an
He's
old.
like
it's
60
like Santa
years
Claus.
old.
Oh,
And he's doing all
yeah.
the- yes, and he's
Yeah.
kicking everybody's ass.
Yeah,
He's
he's
going,
got-
turn,
he's
turn, turn,
Yeah.
turn.
One day I will have a transmission, one of those transmissions in one of my cars.
Seriously,
Hell,
it's a big turbo 13V and a little tiny 72 Datsun with a freaking Lenco.
I've always wanted to get the 80s 442 just for those transmissions.
That's not a Lenco transmission.
I know,
That's
but
just an
no,
automatic.
well, no,
that's just
I know,
an automatic
but
with a
still.
shifter.
Joe's I just love the way it looks, and plus, I hate to say it, but I love the way those Jews bodies look. They're awesome. Like that all-wheel drive one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the G bodies. Oh yeah.
Speaking of
Well,
that,
that one of my in-car videos from Gainesville, there was a G body that launched just before me,
And he watched it do the G body shuffle.
just all the way down.
I don't know what they want for it or anything, but locally and at an appliance place, there is a beat-up Regal T-Type for
Really?
sale.
Is that an appliance king?
Have you seen it?
It's not a T-type.
Is that a Grand National?
It's a Grand National.
I thought it was a
It's a
T-Type.
Grand
It
National.
looks beat as shit. Like it's
It
been
just
sitting
like it.
for a while.
Well, because you gotta remember, we know girlfriend for that.
Oh, that's right. I wonder how much they want for that thing.
I can ask her.
It's sitting there.
I can ask her.
I
they
can't
they
fucking
picked it
afford
up
it,
a
but-
couple months ago.
Lemon Scar.
No. It's a straight on actual Grand. It's not a GNX, but it's a full on Grand National.
It's
Yeah,
beat
but what
though.
condition is it?
It's beat.
From pictures I've seen, motor's good, interior's good, body's beat, but
Lemon Scar.
Be a fun lemon scar.
Right.
yeah, but there's no way we're getting it for $500.
Nah.
Yeah,
Wait a minute, what's the price cap on a chump car? Chump car is kind of like,
50,000.
yeah, chump cars, not as much.
Hey, there.
Not as much goofy stuff
I
in the
tried to
truck
find the list post again last night, but I have seen multiple times up in Ocala. There is a '89 B2200 Mazda, kind of like what Nick's truck was, with a 9550 in it from a Mustang.
Well, I've
a
seen that one up for
T5
sale.
transmission, perfect interior. The body, it needs paint, but the interior is fucking perfect. Seats, everything. $500.
Really?
Yeah. I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
$500.
I saw-
find this.
I saw that it was on Facebook Marketplace. It's black.
the gray black
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
I gotta be honest, the 5.0 would come out.
Yeah, I know. I would put a rotary into it. Well, yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, I wish Nick still had his
Yeah,
truck
well,
because I love.
I
I
basically,
finally-
you popped your rotary cherry
Yeah.
in an updated version of a repoop.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
like that. That was the thing. Like that was the one and only rotary I've ever driven, and
Are they not fun?
oh, well, it was. I was it was again straight piped, no exhaust
So was
at
mine.
all.
Well, mine.
Well, no.
Well,
This was a pipe that literally came down from the header and dumped underneath the cab.
so it was a hater pipe.
Oh, it was loud as hell. Well, you remember how loud Nick's truck was. So I'm thinking I'm doing like 10,000 RPMs. I was only at 3,000, so I'm shifting, and I'm like, this is a bit slower. And then my phone's ring. Well, I feel my phone buzzing. I'm looking down at Nick. I'm like, what? He's like, you're revving way too low. I'm like, it's so loud. He's like,
Rev it up.
rev it all the way. I'm like, okay. I get on to Highlands, and I just second gear. Woo!
Dude,
It goes pop, pop, well, bam, whee!
Dude,
And I'm like, my ears,
dude, when
my
I
ears.
had mine, there was not one time I got into that car when it didn't see 8,000 RPM.
Oh my god,
Oh.
this thing was. Oh, and again,
Keep in
just-
mind, this was a carbureted 12A.
this was a carbureted 13B, and with the racing beats, fucking air
And
cleaner,
that
and
motor
that.
was ported. Too.
And it was, and that
ported.
thing once the second rotor finally got spark and fuel and all that shit, and it went from sounding like horrible to just whop blap 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 blap, and I'm sitting there at the stoplight.
That means it was bridge ported.
I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's
it was, and
yeah.
I'm sitting there going.
Mine was only street ported, so it idled a little more steadily.
Oh,
it was
no.
more of a pop, 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 pop,
No,
pop, pop, pop,
this
pop,
was the straight up truck. It felt like I had a 454 with the biggest cam
Yeah.
ever in it.
Blop,
The truck was
blop, 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 blop,
plop, plop.
When we one of my buddies had an FD, and him and I replaced both the rear wheel bearings on it, and we put a new
Demo drags.
Yeah.
What else did we do? We did new wheel bearings on it and new rear subframe bushings. And
Yeah.
he let me take it out for a drive with him, and he'd only had the car for like a couple of weeks, and I had rode with him in it already once, and he was kind of being very gentle with it, and I had said to him, I was like, you mind if I get on it? And this is a 13 what was the color? The color red. I can't remember the name of the red, but it was a 93 red touring. Excuse me. Had Greddy upgraded sequential turbos. Had a Greddy front mount. Somebody like Greddy had Greddy turbo timer. Then it had a HKS downpipe, HKS full exhaust. Pretty much like 100% bolt-ons and a tune. It made 390 wheel horsepower, and he let me take it for a drive. And we're going out, and I said, "Have you, full swung it yet?" And he goes, "I don't know how far up it'll swing. I haven't gone there yet." And I was like, "Do you mind?" And he goes, "Not at all." So we came out where the Holiday Inn is on 44 in Mexico, on 244 in Mexico, and I gave her a gentle clutch pop, and then slowly released my foot into the pedal, and sideways swung about 9,000 RPM with the beep. Well, you couldn't hear the beeper because the thing was so fucking loud.
Yeah.
And it was an RX-7, so the tachometer was doing this, and then pegged it. Bang second. He's looking. He's like, "I didn't know this car was this fast," and I was like, "I didn't know either." Bang third. Bang fourth. Look at the speedo. Wait for it to kick up and work. 140. Holy shit. Slow down. That thing. And like, he was like, "I thought people said rotaries didn't make torque." And I was like, "Yeah, it's."
I'm gonna have to find
NA
another.
rotaries don't make a lot of torque.
They don't. I've
Boosted
driven.
rotaries, on the other hand, can do
Yes.
some weird things.
I've driven 3 RX-7s. I've driven a Turbo 2, NA FC, and I've driven an FD. I haven't driven an FB yet. I've always
Like I
wanted.
said,
always
I
wanted
daily drove an 83 GSL.
I had one. I owned one. I had an 83.
My GSL was kind of cool because not only did it give it nice things like power windows, the Clarion stereo, and the removable moonroof, it also gave it a 390-to-1 limited slip differential and disc brakes in the back.
It was the same one that the GSL AC's got.
Yeah. But this was 83, so it was still the carbureted 12A before they went to the injected 13B.
Right.
NA, of course.
Because wasn't that the last year of the FB put the
85.
13Bs in it?
83 was the last year for the 12A. Was it 85?
Is that what it was?
the last
85 was the last year, and then they
So
also had
84 and 85, I believe, had the 13B.
and they also had the extremely elusive and rare 12A turbos as well, which
Yeah,
those were not in the American market, right?
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, I think they were.
Although
Japan
back in the
only.
day when I had mine, I found a guy down in Dunedin that ran a jet ski shop, and he had taken his 12A, pulled the carburetors off, and put the throttle body fuel injection from a jet ski onto it.
I've seen a lot of people who've been jet skis. They're excellent for movement and everything. That's why
Well-
people use them in airplanes too.
No, yours is there, Chris. Sorry, you're going through wedding pictures. Brian, I just saw the
Twisted
picture of
monkey.
me and you together.
How goofy do we look?
No, we look really good with framing that, and we're putting that up.
There was
Really?
Yeah.
Because I figured any picture of me and it was going to be goofy
No,
as hell.
it was a good one. Wearing that same shirt too.
there was a teacher
But a lot more sweat that day.
Yeah.
at the technical school that Chris and I went to, who taught the machine shop class. His name was Mr. Hensley, and he actually I kind of befriended him because he was big into cars and everything, and he's a 30+ year machinist, and I got to see his airplane, his 20B airplane.
Yeah, I have seen rotaries in experimental aircraft.
And he had a 20B in his, and it was badass. It was a Bridge-ported 20B.
Speaking of engine swaps and airplanes, you've always heard the thing LS swap the world.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, there are people now that are working on a kit to do an STC conversion, FAA legal conversion of an LS in Cessna 172s.
Really?
I've seen.
Is that the type of plane that your dad had?
No, he had a 170B. But
Okay.
172 was a tricycle gear, high wing
Okay.
tricycle gear. But I've actually seen pictures of an experimental 172 with an LS swap with a gear reduction drive
That
to drive the
actually
prop off of it like an airboat.
that actually wouldn't be bad.
Except that what came out of there was a 300 cubic inch flat 6 air cooled motor.
True.
All right, so
I love planes.
due to a last minute error on my part, we kind of went with a last minute replacement
Yeah.
beer.
Brian fucked up.
Big time.
Brian fucked up.
Yeah, the beer I was going to bring, I can't guarantee I'll have it for next Pints and Pistons because it sounds like it's one that I'll probably just drink.
Right.
It's from Louisiana. It's a Heckman recommendation. But yeah, this is
Color in
a
there.
Victory Twisted Monkey Belgian style blonde ale with mango.
Me and Brian went through a couple different beers. looking at
Refreshing twist on mystical flavors. Fruity Belgian yeast is enhanced with an exciting twist of mango, resulting in a big flavor refreshment that only the monkey can deliver.
them. Oh,
Malt Pilsner,
sorry,
Tettnang hops, whatever the hell that is.
Drinking.
possibly. Oh yeah. Sorry, my bad. It's good. It's in your beard, Chris.
Well,
That's normal.
I put one in my lap earlier, so.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a.
They're heavy
wow.
on the mango.
Well, it's not a. It's
Wow.
not a Heffen. It's not a Hefeweizen.
Hefeweizen.
Hefeweizen. But this. So take that mango one that we've had
The House of
and
Blues.
make it into a regular ale. That's what this is. It
a
doesn't
little
have
stronger on the mango.
Yeah,
I
it doesn't
think.
have the bite of
They're heavy.
the Heffy,
Let's give
but
this a
it
shot.
is.
All right.
good.
Cheers.
No, Mike, you don't get to cheer because you cheated us already.
Hey, Chris did too.
Fuck
I only
both
did
of you.
after he did.
Fuck both of you guys. Fucking
No,
heathens.
that's gonna go great with the Jazz.
Yep. That's a
I
beer.
will say this would not be bad with like a pork dinner of some sort, like
I'm not for it.
a pork
Yeah,
loin
oh,
or something
no,
like that.
No, you know what this would be great with?
You guys are just flat out wrong. This is really good just as it is.
Well, yeah, no, it's good, but
Change my mind.
a good. You're at the Polynesian at Disney, and you get their pulled pork that has the apple coleslaw on it with the Hawaiian sauce on it. This will be great
Okay,
with
second
fruity.
sip.
I was
Sure.
thinking of pineapple ham.
Right.
But
Yeah, well, something like that. Just with something with a citrus tone to it. Like this is a perfect luau beer.
Hey,
You're having a roasted pork over a
Actually-
fire and that.
you guys are looking too far afield for this. I think something a little closer to home. The chicken that we had the other night.
Oh,
yeah, it
your
would go
orange
well with
chicken.
That orange chicken with
It
the
would
mango.
go really well
the
with
other
that.
night.
Yes.
Yeah, it would.
This
This would go well with that.
Ooh, good choice.
It's a
Brian.
good beer. I like it.
Yes,
I like
It's
it a
light.
lot.
It's refreshing. It's a little bit of fruity
It's
splash
it's
to
got
it.
the mango going on, but it doesn't have any weird sweetness.
No,
It just kills
no.
everything.
And
it's not.
it's not like a artificial mango flavor.
No, it's a very
it's
very
a very
good-
natural.
good
It's
mango.
not overly sweet. It's perfect with it. It's not. Yeah.
It's very refreshing. I like that
Yeah.
about that. It's very wet, very refreshing.
And
You know,
but like again, like unlike
no
the,
dryness at all.
yeah, it's not
Yeah,
like
it's a
the
good summer
Heffy-
beer, Will.
It's
Definitely.
not like the Heffy where it's
Yeah,
that the
definitely good
Heffies
summer
have
beer.
a little bit more
Will,
sparkle to it.
right?
poor Will, he's out of beer.
Oh,
Oh.
sorry, I drank it all last night. My bad. You said I
And
could
Will
have the
said
last-
Will said he got to drive a GSL too.
Sweet. But
Our limited slip disc brake rear end rotary cars not fun.
they are. They well, I mean, I drove the turbo
That's
too,
really good.
it's closest to it. But before we get into our next thing, I want to do one more little rotary thing. So
I've got a little rotary thing too.
We should
back
have just named it Rotary Hour.
back when I worked at O'Reilly's, this guy had come in
Oh.
asking if anybody knew about rotaries in the place, and somebody had called me up and said he's the only guy here who knows about rotaries. I started talking to this guy, and he said, I'm building something, and I'm using a Renesis rotary, but it's
That's the
RX-8, and it's going to be turbo and everything, and telling me all this stuff. I'm like, all right, cool. And he goes, but I'm using a GM ignition system on it for the application I'm using it for.
So like that last one.
Yeah,
I
and he's
like
like, and I need some help with like how this. Shut the fuck up, Will. Comments.
I was wondering where he was going.
I was wondering too.
O'Reilly.
I was wondering where he was going with that. That's
But-
awesome.
So
I can't even see it. So
With the
guy-
auto parts.
it's coming.
Auto.
O'Reilly's.
So the guy, I can't reach anyway. So the guy asked me if I could help him like look at it, and I told him, I'd be more than happy to help him. So he gave me an address and his
Auto parts.
auto parts. He gave me an address and his phone number, and I was like, all right. So I punch up the address in the GPS, and it's
That's how you wake up in a seedy motel in a bathtub full of ice, missing a kidney.
Or you wake
So-
up in a place with a lot of cars.
anyway. I punch up the address, and it's here in town. And not even thinking about looking at the location on my GPS, I start driving, and I'm right here in town. and I
Like
turned
here in town or you're
in Crystal
Okay.
River, and I turned over towards Bicentennial Park, and then I'm looking. I'm like, I'm going to the airport. I turn into the airport, and it said Unit 13. I'm like, wait, that's a hangar.
Never underestimate what you will find at an airport, though.
Yeah.
I've seen at another airport
Yeah.
a building full of cars.
It wasn't a car. It was a plane that he was building himself, an experimental aircraft that he was telling me that he didn't have to have a pilot's license to fly, and he wanted to help him get it running and everything.
Was it an ultralight?
It
Some
was
sort of experimental.
It was some sort of experimental aircraft, and that's the point where I said no. And he's like, why won't you help me? And I was like, because if this thing breaks and you die, I'm not the one who's going to be responsible.
Right.
And he's like, no, I know what I'm doing for the most part. And I was like, no way, man.
It's for that most part that's the bad part.
Look, I'm going to be
Don't add
flat
that
out
up.
on this. If you swung into O'Reilly's looking for help to build your plane, you don't need a plane.
Here's the thing.
Well,
After
at this point,
Paraglider.
I can
Something
tell
different
you,
than that, Will.
I can tell you at this point, because CJ works there. Or
Not anymore. He works in Ocala now.
Oh, but still, I can imagine CJ being there going, this dumb fuck's about to crash his plane.
But here's the messed up part. A year afterwards, the dude kept bugging me about it. Found me at my new job at the dealership I work at now. Found me there. Found me working there.
Aw,
And was
you got
asking-
a stalker.
And I was like, leave me alone. I'm not going to help you build this. And I just had to tell the guy flat out no, again and again and again. And
We really have to ask CJ. We got to ask CJ if he knows that dude.
I can't remember the guy's name. It started with an R. And he was
Hey,
an older
he's,
guy.
He's texting CJ right now. CJ might know it.
It was years ago, too. It was years ago.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was my little rotary thing.
No, rotaries are just amazing. They
They
are.
are super cool.
Yeah. So he's texting CJ really quick to see it because, like I said, CJ worked at the airport.
You might remember. I don't remember the fucking guy's name. I think it started with an
Yeah,
R.
no, CJ was one of the mechanics there, right?
Yeah, he's an A&P.
Yeah. So he now works up in the.
Well, and I remember too, like when he came up to the dealership I work at now, he had said he's like, I don't have it at the airport anymore. It's somewhere else now. And I was because I guess he was renting
Yeah.
a hangar there for a while, but I think he only had it there for a short amount of time. But he was building it there, and I was sketch deluxe, man. You asked me to help you build a race car with something like that. That's fine
No,
with me.
airplanes are, and Brian, me and Brian are. Well, I'm not on the level as Brian, but Brian knows my love for warbirds and stuff like that.
I don't, and I'll be honest, I don't know really anything about I've always been fascinated by airplanes.
No,
My grandfathers, both of them, were in the Air Force.
I see airplanes flying over, and
I love
besides
airplanes.
this civilian ones, military ones. I mean, we name them constantly. It just is some weird shit.
Like it always does that.
What?
Does that every time.
But no, one of my favorite things is when I helped your dad Brian doing the inside of the
Oh, yeah.
plane. What was that? The corrosion.
Yeah.
I helped do the corrosion
I got
covering
angry.
inside his dad's
There.
old
There
plane,
we
which
go.
is actually up here now because they sold it and that like he asked me, he's like, hey, you want to do this? I'm like,
Uh-oh.
like.
Our charger's not plugged in, and we're about to die.
Yep.
Move your phone.
I'm like, I get
Right,
to work.
right there, the computer was pulling a Clarkson.
Power!
Yeah.
Power!
So I'm like, I get to work on the airplane. He's like, well, you're just coating the inside. I'm like, fuck yeah. I was there. That I was sweating like crazy, but you know what?
Yeah,
that
we
was
had
a
Mike, we had
super
Mike all
fun.
the way down the back.
I
ass
saw the
end.
picture.
That was a fun day because you know what? You had other people from other hangars coming up going, can you come do mine? I'm like, it's just one of those. I'm like, I'm working on an airplane. This is my dream.
That's
Like,
like
this
I
is everything
do.
I've ever wanted to do in my life. You're
And
not
what
doing
he's-
anything.
what he's,
I don't care.
Yeah, and what he's referencing is we recently sold, but we had a 1955 Cessna 170.
It was awesome, and I
I
still
don't
never
know.
got a flight in it. So, but you got to see if the new person can still give me a flight.
And if you want to put that up to the camera, they can see what it looked like.
But before we jump into our last thing, before we bring a trailer,
Is it?
Yeah.
go.
Yeah,
Look.
that was it. It was awesome.
What was your rotary thing?
Well, if anybody saw the video that I posted up yesterday about the tail of the gator, the same road that road
Yeah,
and
we're
track,
good. We're
you know,
good.
that the,
Somebody needs to
that the road and
trademark
track
that name
guys.
quick.
I mean, car
Sorry.
driver.
Yeah.
that they went down. I mean, we've known about that road for years, and
Well, if
way
you
back,
live here, you know.
yeah,
it.
and way back in my two-legged days, I may or may not have, hypothetically speaking, in a 100 horsepower 12A rotary car, done a standing start out of the stop sign back out to 19 in way under 9 minutes.
My
Wow.
favorite thing is okay. So I posted that to our page and I shared it, and I had one of
Did
our
you see CJ's comment on the
yeah
video?
yeah no I had one of my friends say you know be careful of the road and all that stuff, and I'm like I'm also going like that was a 13.5-minute long video. That is the slowest any of us has ever gone down.
Yeah,
that
you-
Well,
road.
the funny thing is, I mean, Google Maps says that route takes 17 minutes.
Yeah.
And you weren't really driving
No,
spiritedly.
he
You were
was-
just
he
kind of
was-
going.
I was relaxed at the front end, and then once I got because
Yeah, no,
I-
we heard
here's
it
the
when
thing.
it started to shift. And
well,
all
see,
that
I'd
towards the
made
end.
I'd made one run down the road, and then about 6.5 or 7 miles down, I caught a delivery truck going down to Pex, and
Yeah,
I'm
you
like,
know, I watched the whole video.
and I was like, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not doing that. So I spun around and went back to Circle K and then waited. I figured I needed at least a 5-minute gap. But then it was like, I just could not get a gap of cars going down. So I ended up with like a 3.5 to 4 minute gap. And I was like, okay. So I went ahead and went, and the Explorer that was on the side of the road by the
Yeah.
trash pile,
Yeah.
that was the last car. So that's when I was able to make a run all the way down without
Yeah.
catching anybody. And
Well,
once I got down to about that 8-mile area, when I started going a little bit spirited, that's when I was pretty sure I wasn't going to catch
Yeah.
it.
we have to get all four of us and go down there and do a little video on that. And what we're talking about is, I don't know if they sell Car and Driver in stores, but
Yeah, they do.
if you guys find a Car and Driver in the store this month, because it is the August issue,
It'll have a supercharged Shelby
Shelby.
GT rental car.
Yeah,
On the
that's
front
what-
page?
Car.
on the
and
front page.
the road that they're testing it on
The
is
Tail of the Dragon, which is a Zillow Trail, which
Tail
is
of the
Tail of the
Gator.
Gator.
Tail of
yeah,
the Gator.
Gator.
And I don't think I've ever heard anybody call it that
No.
before, except
I've
for
never
that.
heard that before.
It's a
but
Zello
perfect.
Trail. It's a local road here that we've all.
Yeah, like I said in the
Known
video,
forever.
it runs
That-
from,
that
from
is-
US 19 out to the water. It's a little over 9 miles, like about 9.5
You go
miles
over
long.
islands and stuff, and it has
And
a
you're-
causeway bridge.
You're running out through the salt marsh. One thing I didn't mention on the video, I mentioned the motorcycle traffic you see on the weekend. It's the boat traffic. People trailering boats out there. So if you are going to go down that road, you're going to have any fun on it, probably early to mid-morning, Tuesday to Thursday is probably your best times to
and
have a
always
little entertainment out there.
drive safe on that road because
There's a lot of places
the
where there's
Google,
no runoff.
The Google Trail doesn't really do it justice. That
No.
road has got some very unforgiving
Yeah,
turns.
Yeah.
and it's
Once you're out in the salt marsh, you literally have
6 inches on each
a
side.
car width
not
of
even
you
saying.
have a
It's
car width
water.
you have a car width of shoulder ish, and then
it drops off.
it's salt marsh.
And yeah, it's salt. It's you're not.
You're
it's not
it's
a freshwater
brackish. It is
thing to where
brackish.
all of a sudden, if you kind of go off,
It's
yeah,
brackish
just that
water.
little no,
It's
your
brackish water.
your car's totaled.
And that
Yeah.
car and that road has claimed many a vehicles and
Yes.
many a lives.
and we're
Yeah,
not joking with
motorcycles, cars, all kinds
that.
of stuff.
Everything.
And I've driven down it very, very, very spiritedly before.
Well,
And,
hell, I did it.
it's so much fun.
I did it when I still had the Cobra. It was us and Jan when Jan just got the catfish, and on the way down, Brian was behind me, and that is the one time that Brian was like, "With your car not have because that car did not have a rear sway bar into it."
I've never
It
seen
got-
an SN95 with no rear bar take a corner as flat as that piece of shit did.
Yeah.
It was a piece of shit, but Jesus Christ, that thing was.
It sounded
flatter
good
than
and a corner
anything.
flat.
It was. But on the way back, I watched his wonderful V6 that did not have as much stuff done to it as it does now.
Yeah, I didn't have the performance back on it. I just had the stock.
Walked.
It was just it was
Well,
stock
I
from
mean,
stock Pirellis.
The catfish got him in the straightaways, but when you hit that solid, it was a mile of the goes, the S's.
Yeah, Mike said he saw
It went-
Jan and then me,
It was
And then
one
he saw
car. Hey, there's Jan,
Jan.
and Brian.
and then me.
There's Jan. Oh, Brian's up there. There's Jan. Where the fuck's Brian? We didn't see him for the next 3 miles.
I remember one time I went down there. I had a '94 Mazda MX-3.
Oh, I remember that car.
Yeah.
That was a good car.
And
I like that car.
this is before I put my built NA motor in it. It had the factory 1.6 liter Mazda B6 engine that somebody.
What do those cars weigh? About 2,400 pounds?
Yeah,
Yeah,
something
it was
like that.
20. It was. I think it dry is like 22 something, and I think like with
Wet.
me in it and everything is
And
like
wet.
2320 or something like that, or 24, somewhere around there. But
Yeah.
the previous owner had done a mild overhaul of the engine, a 20 over bore, ported the heads, port match everything, and it had bolt-ons, it had a header on it, exhaust, and cooler intake, and that. It had chassis brace, all the strut braces, and all that.
Mhm.
And I was just going down there to go fishing because you can still fit a fishing pole in that little thing beautifully. And
That actually sounds like it was a fun little ride.
it was a blast. I loved that car, and I was headed down there, and there was probably like a your body style, y'all's body style Mustang GT behind me, and
I like this.
It's decent.
he didn't get to me till after the very first straight when you start hitting the turns.
Mhm.
Right there is where he came up on me, and he was like riding my ass. So I started getting into it, and I lost him. I mean, lost him. Didn't see him for because that car handled turns beautifully, and on the straightaway he caught up to me. And when he caught up to me, he couldn't pass because of oncoming traffic. We hit the turns again, lost him. And when I got to the end, about 3 or 4 minutes later, he came up to the end too, and he got out of his car and he said, "Holy crap, man, that thing handles like a champion." And I was like, "Yes, it does." And he goes, "Does that thing even make any good power?" And I said, "From the factory, 100. Maybe with what's done to it, maybe 110."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Not much at all." But that,
Yeah, I was in the 4-point slow and just bored one day, so I didn't go all the way down. I went down to 6-water mark, about where Backwater Fins is.
Yeah.
Went
That's
down there.
convenience store, right?
No, that's what used to be the Wench's Brew, and then
Yeah,
a couple of bars. About
okay.
right, like I said, just right past the 6-mile mark.
Yeah,
there you
okay.
go.
So anyway, so I went down there a little ways and then banged a U-turn and was getting ready to make my U-turn, and an old lady in a Focus wagon went by, and then a dude on not a full sport bike, but sort of like a
Cafe-ish.
sport e-bike, kind of like
Standard.
yeah, a little bit more not a cruiser bike, not a full crotch rocket, but
A standard.
a sport e-bike.
Yeah.
And he went by,
Crush
and
sucker type deal.
and I pull out behind him, and so we were behind this low escort wagon, and then he sort of had a short break where he could make a pass, so he made the pass, and I had to wait a couple more corners until I got an area. Then I made the pass, and I got up to the motorcycle guy, not right on his wheel. I didn't want to make the guy think I was trying to kill him or anything like
right.
that. You know, several distances behind, so I was safe. So he knew I wasn't coming after him.
Yeah.
But I got up behind him, and he started picking up the pace, and I picked up the pace and basically just maintained the gap between us. He started going heavy. I started going heavier, and then we were suddenly in Mexico, and we were both really hammering it through those corners. And we come out to 19 to the light, and right as we pulled up, the light turned green, and we both turned left. He went in the right lane. I stayed in the left lane, and he slowed down, and he looked at me. He's like, "Dude, that was awesome." And I was like, "Dude, you had so much fun." And we both gave a thumbs up, and he rode off. And it was just a fantastic bike and motorcycle encounter, but both of us were just having a blast. It's great.
My favorite time out on Ozello when it was back in Mexico was when I still had my old Kia, my Spectra 5. So I had the Kia Spectra 5 hatchback, 5-speed manual car. And it was all stock except for the Kia factory upgraded exhaust. And I had a eBay hacked up piece of pipe for an intake type of setup, right? Because it was a Kia. I'm not spending any real money on this car.
Citrus County car scene.
Yes, exactly. But I had to drop somebody off down there at the end of Ozello at like 2:00 in the morning. It was one of those situations. I'm sitting at home. I get a text from a friend. "Hey, I need a ride." So I took them home, and
Don't
down
mind me,
there
I'm just updating the beer list.
down there and back. I mean, it's 2 a.m. There's nobody on that
I
road.
wonder what the Soul would do. I don't know. How much does a Kia Soul weigh?
Kia Souls are pretty heavy.
They're
actually.
a little heavy.
I was gonna say, I think his is
They're in the
first
3,000 range.
This is a first.
But
shot,
I
too.
mean, I was hammering this car through that road. I'm tapping 90 on the straights just because it's 2 a.m. There's no one here. And just
You gotta watch
dive
out for
bombing.
peacocks at that
Yeah,
point.
Yes.
I'm dive bombing the corners. And look, I ain't going as fast as a better car would go, but man, I was having fun.
Oh yeah, that's all that matters on that road, and it's one of those.
And it's one of those roads you can not even drive like crazy, and it's a beautiful road.
Oh yeah,
to drive
no,
down.
but you do have to watch out for peacocks because when you start getting towards the houses midway through,
They
on
run
that
out the road.
part,
Yeah,
there is peacocks, and
And they're
I
overly
have,
confident too.
yes, and I think I don't know if it was a run that we were doing or if it was a run where we were doing with some other friends, and it was towards sunset. No, it was a run.
No, it was that run.
Well, no, but we also had
that
it
was the
on-
run where we saw peacocks. Your car cornered flat, and a minivan ran 3 or 4 of us clean off the damn
Yeah,
road.
no, but it was also when it was me, Frew with the Lightning, Chuck Norris Jr. with the '86 convertible, and Jan with the Great Pumpkin. We went
I
through
must that
the-
car.
Oh, I fucking missed that car too because trust me, Serena would have bought that in a heartbeat. If I actually bought the 03 right after. Well, he sold that and we almost got that. But anyway, it was one of those. A peacock ran out into the road. I locked up all 4 wheels and slid to a stop because this fucker's standing in the road going, "Hit me,
Right?
hit me." You
Well,
ain't gonna
that's
hit
another
me.
thing you
Like
gotta
I
be
really
careful
think that
of on that
peacock.
road.
You were
Wildlife in
basically
general, though.
Wildlife.
waiting for some sunglasses to drop down and go deal with it.
Yes,
The
yes.
one other thing you got to worry about on that road, which is different from Tail of the Dragon, people live there.
Yes.
That is that their
Yes.
homes are on that road.
You got
Yeah.
a lot where it's nothing, but then towards the middle and towards the end, you
Right.
Yeah.
actually
there's,
do
there's
hit
2
houses.
spots where you're literally in little towns on that road. Like it's a
And-
little.
and
there's a
you
general
have to-
store.
I
basically
and
a
there's
little
convenience
neighborhood.
store, and you have to watch out when it's saying do 10 miles per hour around these corners.
Well,
Be
I mean,
spirited,
any of you guys that
but
watched the
when
video,
you-
you
when-
saw what
yeah.
the road is like.
Yeah, when you
So-
get to those parts, you
I
seriously, guys,
I
you
actually
have
had
to.
my Z, back in my 2-legged days. I actually had my Z down that road, and on that back part between miles 7 and 8,
Yeah,
I actually did spin the Z, and thankfully the Z was one of those cars that when it spun, it would like to spin into the direction it was
Yeah.
going. So I literally spun through the apex and
yeah.
around the exit of the curve. So I mean, I never left the pavement, but I was
Yeah.
like, "Ooh, that was
But
close."
from Pints of Business to you guys, if you are going to go down that road, when you get halfway through and towards the end and you start seeing houses, please
yeah,
obey
back
the-
it down.
Please,
Back
yeah,
it down 20%.
yeah, back it
Pump the
down.
brakes, Squirrely Dan.
Do the speed limit the whole way.
I suggest you let that
But
marinate for a bit.
Please, at that point, there is a decent amount of houses back there, and there
And
are people that
this
live
is
down
another
there.
thing I have to say. And again, kind of like when we were down on that the Dry Florida run, we were
Yeah.
on Ista Chat, and I said I haven't been down here since I had my Z. Things along the roadway in the past 20 some odd years have changed quite a
Yes.
bit. So,
And the
so
wild
from my 2-legged days, which was in the early 90s,
Where
to
there
now,
was 12 houses to now there's 45 houses.
exactly, things
And
are a little
people
bit
cutting their
And
lawns.
you-
It's a great. Again, that is another. We're gonna do a video on that road too because that road is beautiful. Whether you're driving it spiritedly or just driving at 10 miles per hour, that road is glorious. But
There you go.
again, it's in a residential area. You gotta be. It's not like Lake Lindsay where there's
nothing.
stuff.
There's a little
but
bit. There's a
it's-
little bit once you get towards
Yeah,
the 581 side.
But
Other than
it's,
that,
that's one of those you are seriously
Yeah.
going through someone's.
Right.
And I mean,
Yeah.
I've had pigs run out in front of me on that road. I had a
Yep.
panther one
Yeah,
time
yeah.
run
no.
out in front of me on that road.
And again, guys, these are roads that this is old.
It's in the
yeah.
swamps.
This
Yeah,
is
when
old-
I
this is
and
old
in the
Florida.
video when I said it was old Florida, what I meant was it's Florida without the theme parks and what you typically see on the postcards. It's,
Yeah,
it's what
everybody.
literally
when
Florida
you
is.
say you live in Florida, everybody thinks beaches. No,
and Disney World.
that-
No, swamps.
that
Swamps.
road is what living in. When you actually live in Florida,
that's
that's
old
what
Florida.
it's like.
Basically, I mean, pretty much the west coast of Florida from just north of Tampa all the way up into the Panhandle.
It's like
That's
that.
the kind of stuff that you're going to find.
And
Yeah.
but it's one of those like what Dan said. You will see, and it's
Oh,
not. It's
you'll
not.
see
It's not
wildlife.
like hey, you might. You literally will see a whole thing of
Whole
hogs.
family
run,
of hogs, yeah.
run out in front of you. You'll
I
have
a cracked
peacocks.
bumper from
Yeah.
a hog.
You'll have peacocks. You'll have full-on raccoons,
Swim for it, man.
armadillos,
Possums, everything.
possums.
Gators too on that road.
gators.
Hey,
You will have panthers. We literally have panthers. They're not a mythical creature. Like
They
they're
exist.
endangered, but we have those. You can be going down 19, which I've had this at 4 o'clock in the morning. stopped in the middle of 19 between Chaskawitza and Homosassa because I have a black bear standing in the middle of the road just staring at me going,
Like, hey.
what do you want to do? And I'm like, I'm not having you attack my car. I'm going to go into the ditch and try to go around you.
Yeah.
Because you're a black bear. I'm in an 86 Mustang with a 4-cylinder. You can beat me.
But-
you can beat me.
Before we move into our Bring a Trailer, though, if you guys do find one of those car and drivers, pick it up.
Pick it
even
up.
if you
It's
don't buy
awesome.
it, just look at it and look at that article because they got some beautiful drone shots of that road.
Yeah, look at
And
the
that's right
article.
here. That's right here in our home. So
Look at
Yeah,
the
it's
article.
literally right in our
and then
backyard.
Yep.
watch the video that Brian posted. It's seriously, that's 20 minutes away from us. That is one of the roads that Pints and Pistons have cut their teeth on.
And like I said, we'll definitely have to
that's our road.
do some kind of video with all four of us driving our cars down there
Yeah.
for sure, and add
Oh,
like
yeah.
a little, video thing at the end and everything. But I think it's about time to move on to our
Bring a Trailer
BAT
car.
car.
All
I have not been on Bring a Trailer all week, mainly because I've been dying. But
Okay.
I've been a good.
Speaking
boy.
of, how you doing? Doing good?
I'm feeling okay. I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish
That's
that beer
fine.
though. I feel
That's fine.
bloated.
That's fine.
so-
I am too. I farted like crazy. Hold on.
Oh,
what I have here- Let me bring up the Bring a Trailer.
Oh, Brian has a boner.
Oh, as soon as I saw this car, I was like, and there was. Here's the thing. There was an '83 Toyota 4x4 pickup that was white with bronze stripes and wheels. That was just fantastic. But then I saw this, and I was like,
Can I do a timeout really quick before we go into that? There is currently at the Chevy dealership right here in town, Love Chevy in Inverness. There is an 86 2+2.
Yeah.
Well, I know, but it's an 86 2+2 300ZX, red with black leather interior, full digital gauge, bitch and Betty, factory radio like Trevor's car had with the whole equalizer and all that. Manual,
I have one of those.
93,000 miles on it.
Might have a lot more than that.
Perfect. I mean, it is beautiful.
I don't know, is it a 5-digit odometer or a 6-digit odometer in those?
Mine
Digit,
has six
but
digits.
it was 6 digit, but it's the second owner that traded in there, $3,000.
Really?
And if Will's commenting, I showed Will last night
Yeah.
that it is amazing.
I had a-
Will wants to drive Tail of the Gator in the soul.
Do it.
It is,
I
yeah.
had a red 85 2+2
Yeah.
with a gray cloth interior. I didn't have the digital.
No,
I had,
it looks like
analog,
Nick's old
but-
car.
yeah, mine
it
looks
looks
like
like
that
his
too.
old
And-
car.
but mine was
Except the
5-speed.
2+2 like Kyle has.
It's like further back, and mine was like that 5-speed and everything. I had that car for quite a while. It had a lot more miles, like
Yeah.
200 something thousand
No,
on it.
this thing is perfect. And then I saw the price, especially from a dealership. I was like, that's actually a reasonable price, and it's good. So sorry,
All right,
I
guys.
saw that, and it reminded me of that. So I just
You want to show that to the camera?
So
So what we have here, folks,
Can you see it?
is
Hold on,
Failure to
look at the
communicate.
camera.
Sorry.
what we have here, kids.
Tilted a little bit,
What we have here, kids, is
showing up a little bit, but not great.
a 1974
There you go.
Datsun
That's better.
260Z.
that's it.
Metallic gold. This is the exact same color that my 75
That's what it was?
280Z was. Yes, it looked like this, but with big ugly
Yeah, but
bumpers
maybe
on
a
it.
2+2 does. But
That's
the
mine. Mine was a 2+2.
Yeah, well, no, but the turbo wheels on it. It's
Okay.
got turbo wheels.
That was mine.
So this thing has 10,000
I had it a
original
long time
miles.
ago.
2.6 liter L26, 4-speed, gold metallic, black vinyl, recent service, new tires, original documentation. This 1974 260Z was sold new at Palo Alto Datsun, California in February 1974, and the seller acquired it from a family member of the original owner in 2018. Power is by an L26, made into a 4-speed manual,
What year was yours?
75.
That's in English right now on Facebook Marketplace.
Fuck you guys.
It's automatic though.
What?
It's automatic. Do we need to sell your Mustang?
I might.
Oh, no, it's
Oh.
a manual. It is.
Oh,
but
Damn
We
it.
can auto swap it.
sorry. I just pulled.
Anyway,
My
Anyway,
bad, guys.
So this is and service performed in the current ownership includes a refresh of the fuel system, brakes, cooling system, and more is outlined below. 260Z shows 10,000 miles and is offered with period documentation, recent service records, and
hold
clean
on.
Kansas title.
10,000
Is that
miles?
documented 10,000
Yes.
miles?
Yes,
And it's a
Whoa.
260, so it's a 78. You said?
74. So it's an L26
Yeah, 'cause
with
it's-
dual carbs and smog. That was the problem. People didn't like the 260s because the smog sort of screwed with the dual carbs. So a lot of times the smog would be yanked off of, and people throw the cars from an L24 onto it. Nissan's solution to that was 75.5. My car, L28 with Bosch Motronic fuel injection.
Oh god darn it!
Dealer installed Keystone
You're
alloys.
out?
So these
I'm out.
are.
I can't play. I accidentally saw the price.
Yeah, he did see the price. So anyway, I will
Let's
show
see
you. I will
some
show you guys some more pictures.
Pictures.
So there's
That is-
that.
Wow, man, that is beautiful. Oh, it's got the louvers and a
Oh,
big safety bumper.
Look at the dash.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
not cracked.
Look at
It's
that.
not broken and warped and gross.
It's perfect.
How
oh,
does that even
10,000
happen?
10,000 miles, I'd hope.
But
so.
stored. It's not restored. It's just
Dude, look at
In
under
that
the
way.
dash.
Look
It
at
looks
the heater
new.
box. Look at the seat.
it's perfect.
Oh
Was this
my.
thing in a hermetically sealed box the whole time?
Well, no, under the hood reflects it. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
look.
not perfect, but it is beautiful.
I mean,
but
it's got patina on it,
It
but
does.
it's there, and all the smog equipment is in place.
Right.
This is
Oh
an
my
unmodified
gosh.
L26 car, and here's the money
yeah,
shot.
10,000 original
Yeah.
documented
That
miles.
he. Oh,
That's what you
Okay.
showed me. That's beautiful.
And having had
Looks like it hasn't been driven.
a
my
gold
God.
S30Z that had rust issues, this right here was what made me go, fuck everything else on Bring a Trailer, this is the car. So, what y'all think it sold for? Except for you.
Well,
Keeping
Hey, at
in
least
mind,
I'm honest.
you are honest. Keeping in mind that the
the 260s
the Heritage 240, the Heritage Restored 240 went
was
for
like
101.
101, yeah.
And we have seen 240s. We saw the 20-year-old Texas restoration car go for 38, and we saw the recent restoration car go for 42. What do you think this 10,000-mile
Well, and
service,
the 260 is kind of the oddball.
and the 260 is the oddball, but what do you think this recently serviced, roadworthy 10,000-mile example went
I'm
for?
going high.
Well, how high?
Will says, 37.5, I think that says.
Will said 37.5.
I'm gonna go 46.
Well, go back. No, do it. Oh, that was reflections. It looked like
Yeah,
paint
no,
damage
that's
right there.
reflections. That's clouds.
It's
Wow.
so hit or miss with the 240s. Like, I've seen some of the
yeah,
240s go in the
240,
70s.
and that's the thing. I know what the 240s have been kind
But
of.
I don't really know
for,
what 260s.
But they can. Fuck.
Yeah, like I said, and this is the same color that my 280 was. This one here just really puts me in my happy
just
place.
nostalgia.
You have no idea how much.
See, and
happy this is
I'm
for
also
me.
thinking another number, but I think that might be too low. But I don't.
Well, you originally said 46, so what are you thinking?
I'm going to go with one of those stupid bring a trailer bid numbers. I'm going to say 51,974.
Okay, where you at, Mike?
See, I was thinking 46, but then I'm also remembering it's a 260, so I was thinking 32. I'm gonna go 32,000.
45 grand.
Fuck! I should have gone 46. But hey,
Wait.
hold on, Price is Right.
He
I
was
was under.
closest without going over.
45
I finally
grand.
won.
Nice.
I finally won.
45 grand.
That's fucking awesome.
But still, 46. I was close. But that was being at 260. That's the thing. It was one of those.
But here's
that
the
was a
thing. But here's the thing.
100% higher. But
Okay, now there were trim changes on the 240. Like the earlier cars had a little bit different stuff than sort of the 72, 73 240s. But the body shell, the unit structure,
Was
the
same.
unit body, and everything from 69 to 76 were unchanged. 77 and 78 had some minor changes going
Yeah.
on. They had a different hood. They figured out how to do the impact struts with thinner bumpers. They changed the rear cargo floor area.
yeah,
So there were some changes in the unit body. They pretty much they still look like a first Gen Z. But as far as the actual unitized structure shell from 69 to 76, they pretty much were the same. It was just the stuff on the outside and, mechanics and interior stuff that was different. So, I mean, the shell is the same as a 240. It just has different engine and slightly different
Yeah.
interior.
yeah.
Well, on that note, thanks guys for watching. Make sure you catch any of our other shenanigans on Facebook or YouTube. Make sure you guys check out.
Is Instagram still a thing?
I haven't been messing with Instagram, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, before we
Don't
sign
add
out,
me to
I
it.
want to let everybody know. Keep your eyes on the channel. Probably Monday night. I'm doing something with the sim rig.
Oh.
and I'm going to do a video.
Speaking of the whole, us and our one guy odd thing on the shirts, we may have some news on shirts.
Yes, but before we go to that, hold on. I would like to say, Chris, we do need to do another video on the door panels for Sabrina's car because they're falling off.
They fell off again.
They're about to. But that makes it to, we know what we did wrong, twice the amount of glue. So, and not doing a Facebook Live, actually doing a broken down video,
Yeah.
I think will be better. But so there might be more for S197 guys from 05 all the way up to 14. Do you all have this problem? We kind of fixed it.
It's not
but
if your vinyl door panel trim is
it's
going to
when.
fall off.
It's when.
and we
Well,
already
actually, to the
kinda-
point, it's why hasn't it yet?
Yeah, we already kind of fixed it.
Oh,
but
don't
it
look
was
at it
just-
too
we-
hard.
I
And
don't think we
Oh.
problemed it
I
too
was gonna
much.
say, and Will got his parts in.
Yeah,
today.
Will got all his parts in for the Grand Marquis. There's
So-
shit going out for that, and we might help out with that. Also, so should I say it or no?
Might as well.
Okay, so if y'all are on our Facebook page, you've seen our wonderful new logo. That is our new Facebook profile picture. That the wonderful people over there at Dirty Ape Inc. have come up with a great logo
That is a
for
fantastic
us.
logo. I really like it.
We've between me and Brian and y'all have been working. It's not that y'all haven't been included. It's just y'all are working the hours that they
Right.
are open.
Yeah, I mean, a lot actually, and then credit where credit's due. Mike's been pushing a lot of this, so this
Yeah.
is
So,
Mike going
my-
above and beyond. This.
Great thing is Doodlebug Dog Ranch. They work with Dirty Ape, and between my sister working with Doodlebug and that, they got us hooked up with Dirty Ape. Great group of people there. I have seen the whole process. I basically watched the whole entire thing come into folds. It's awesome.
Yeah, really good people over there.
Really
people.
good, awesome. I watched how the t-shirts are made, everything like that. Fun. I spent 2 hours while my sister was gone just watching. Matt was showing me everything, and it was amazing. A lot more work than what you think goes into it. It's amazing what those
Yeah,
guys
the
can do.
technology has changed. I mean, screen printing is still the same principle, but
But
I remember doing it in
it's-
high school, and it was a lot of work.
It's nothing compared to that. And
Artwork,
hopefully-
making your screens, doing all your setup,
Yes.
changing your colors.
Yep.
It's labor intensive.
So August 16th is the 17th is technically our 1 year anniversary of doing Pints and Pistons. So the 16th is a Friday. That's our next show. That's going to be our year show. If everything goes right, because tomorrow I'm meeting up with everybody trying to get all the final plans in, we will have new shirts. I can't see.
Will says he needs a shirt.
Yeah.
Size extra
Size
fat.
extra
Yeah.
fat. And Mike can get a 12 dwarf. It's perfect.
Yeah. So hopefully by our year show, we will have a link up on our Facebook and our YouTube of
So we can do a
new shirts.
we can do a
Yeah.
pre-order.
And then
our new shirts.
and these ones will still be up too.
yeah, these
for
ones
sale.
are still
So,
up
and,
on
and we,
Clutch Go.
and we still have the link always for that
we
as
still
well.
have that. But
It's just a second design, second shirt, basically.
this
That's
was
all.
something that just fell into our laps, and we had to run with it.
Yeah.
Well, he
And-
ran with it. I ambulated.
Yeah.
quickly.
and it was one that I brought Brian with me, so that way I didn't seem like a total asshole.
Legist.
Yeah. So
Racist.
but it's one of those guys. Shirt's amazing.
But
So,
anyway, until next time, everybody, thank you so much for watching. And all y'all have a great rest of your weekend and all
Yay.
that. And we're going to hit the old button right here.
Just remember, drive safe, don't drink and drive.
Keep the rubber side down.
yeah,
Yes.
rubber side down. Don't go into the marshes.